In war, weapons are not the only things manufactured. Legends are manufactured too. In the burning heart of Europe during the Second World War, tanks did not move alone across the mud and fire. Another machine was operating relentlessly in the background, a machine that did not fire shells, but crafted heroes. Inside Nazi Germany, the leadership understood something crucial. Soldiers fight with weapons, but nations fight with symbols. The people needed a face, a name, a story powerful enough to cut through fear. And so, a legend was born. His name was Michael Wittmann, a tank commander serving in the Waffen-SS, fighting first on the Eastern Front, later in France. To him were attributed astonishing numbers, dozens upon dozens of destroyed enemy tanks. But numbers in wartime are rarely just numbers. They are narratives, and narratives can be shaped. The question is not only what happened on the battlefield. The question is, who told the story afterward? There was no internet in 1943, no independent fact-checking, no competing versions of the truth. Newspapers carried the official line, radio echoed it, photographs reinforced it, and Joseph Goebbels' propaganda machine was exceptionally skilled at one thing: turning men into myths, a polished uniform, a knight's cross shining on the chest, a bold headline, "The tank ace who cannot be stopped." In a nation increasingly surrounded by bad news, stories like these were oxygen. But battlefields are not cinematic. They're chaotic, confused, brutal. Reports are written quickly. Victories are emphasized. Losses are softened. Context disappears. Propaganda does not need to invent everything. It only needs to select carefully what the public sees. In June 1944, in the French town of Villers-Bocage, Wittmann launched a sudden attack on advancing Allied forces. Within minutes, several vehicles were destroyed. The strike was bold, dramatic, unexpected. It was also perfect material. Within days, the story traveled. His name spread across newspapers. His image circulated. At a time when Germany was steadily losing ground, the regime desperately needed heroes. And so the event became more than a military action. It became proof that German strength still existed. Whether the numbers were precise or inflated mattered less than the psychological effect. Morale was the true battlefield. But behind every symbol, there is a human being. Tank warfare was merciless. Steel coffins rolling across open fields. One mistake, one unseen shell, and an entire crew vanished in seconds. Any commander operating under those conditions lived under relentless pressure. Courage and fear coexisted in the same breath. Was Wittmann an effective tank commander? Many historians believe he was skilled. But was he the unstoppable super soldier later portrayed in propaganda? That question is more complex. Modern researchers continue to debate the accuracy of the reported figures. Some argue that his successes were real, but amplified. Others suggest wartime accounting was too chaotic to verify with certainty. What is clear is that his image was carefully cultivated. He was not just fighting a war, he was serving a narrative. In August 1944, during the Battle of Normandy, his tank was destroyed. The legend met the same fate as countless others on that battlefield. But while the man died, the myth survived. Because regimes do not allow their symbols to fade easily. They preserve them. They repeat them. They reshape them. And long after the guns fall silent, the story continues. This is the deeper lesson. War is not fought only with steel and fire. It's fought with perception. When a soldier becomes a symbol, complexity disappears. the ideology behind the uniform fades from view. The broader machinery of the regime becomes secondary. The focus narrows to bravery, to numbers, to spectacle. But history demands something more uncomfortable. It demands context. A soldier may demonstrate tactical skill and still be part of a catastrophic system. Recognizing military ability does not require admiration. Understanding history does not require glorification. It requires clarity. Today, decades later, the name Michael Wittmann still appears in books, documentaries, and online debates. But the essential question remains: are we studying history? Or are we unknowingly echoing propaganda? When we encounter any so-called war hero, we must ask, who constructed the image? Who amplified the story? Who benefited from it? Because legends are rarely accidents. They are strategic, and in times of crisis, they become necessary tools. Perhaps the story was never about one man in a tank. Perhaps it was about a regime fighting not only its enemies, but its own collapsing narrative, needing proof of invincibility, needing reassurance, needing belief. In the end, the true power of propaganda is not that it lies. It is that it simplifies. It takes the chaos of war and reduces it to a single heroic frame. But history, real history, is never that simple. And the closer we examine how myths are built, the better we understand how they continue to shape our world today. Because the manufacturing of heroes did not end in 1945. It only changed its methods.